I guess that's what it's called.
Good morning, Lord. We thank you for bringing us together in this place at this time to consider the business of the Cherokee people. It is an honor to represent, and we ask for your guidance as we go about our business today. We thank you for the rain and the reminder that the earth is new this time of year, and we ask for your blessings on all who enter here today. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Shelley, would you roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. Victoria Vasquez. Ani. Joe Bird.
Ani.
Bill Engwood.
Ani.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Sean Crittenden. Don Garvin. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan. Dick Wade. Curtis Snell.
Here.
Janice Taylor.
Here.
David Thornton.
This is too early.
You do have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like a motion for the approval of last month's minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, my phone's not on there.
You're good. That's why I'm here.
All right, we'll start with reports, and our first one is from Molly Jarvis from Cultural Tourism. Welcome, Molly.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, good morning, everyone. We have submitted our cultural report, and for the month of March, we have capital projects updates. So on the Capitol building downtown, we are currently working on the exhibit design with our firm that we have selected, RAA, and that design work is progressing as planned, and we hope to have an opening in about 18 months. That's kind of the timeline for that museum. It'll take a while probably about a year for the design portion, and then about 6 months for implementation. So we're currently working on that. For the Water Avenue Pavilion, this would be a structure that would go up on that lot on Water Avenue. We are currently in the process of seeking approval from our board. We have bid that project out for construction, and I'll be presenting that to our board's cultural committee this Wednesday, and then with their recommendation or approval, we will be taking that to our full board of directors for construction. And then the timeline on that would be, we would be able to get that done by August if that is approved. So that would be like a community gathering space there on Water Avenue. The Downtown Cultural Pathway, we just continue to work on design for that project. Saline Courthouse, we are currently preparing bid documents for phase 1 of those trails, outdoor restrooms, picnic facilities for that property. And then Sequoia's Cabin, we have remodeled the restrooms there. We're working on remodeling the gift shop area, kind of that first cabin that you come into, welcome center, gift shop. And then we're also working on new exhibits for inside the building where the cabin is. We have hired 2 employees who will be working there, and they actually started this week and will be doing training here in Tahlequah, our museums, for a couple weeks before they go on site to Sequoia's Cabin and do a transition from the Cherokee Nation staff who's been kind of manning it in the interim. We hope to have kind of a grand opening maybe late May, right before Memorial Day for that property. Then on our retail, of course, we have our new spring lines in, spring merchandise coming in all the time. And then we do have some new events, or events that we've had in the past that are new for this spring. We just had the make and take sessions last week during spring break, so those were very successful and took place at all 3 of the museums here. And then we have our gravestone workshop, which is always a really popular class that we offer. And that's in May. And then we will have a new exhibit going up at Supreme Court in May, and that's the Oddities of the Advocate. So that'll bring out little stories from the Advocate that maybe were kind of unusual at the time. then we'll do our stories on the square again this summer with our storyteller Janelle doing stories every Wednesday on Capitol Square. And then our events that we have coming up. We are officially in season, so that's why I kind of have a lot of things to talk about today, kicking off our spring and summer tour season this March. And next week we'll be at NMAI, Washington, D.C., Cherokee Days. And so we are all ready for that. This will be our 4th year. So we're getting close to that 5-year annual event next year. And then we launched our education tours for the spring, where we bring in schools to tour our museums. And then the Cherokee Art Market Youth Competition, we're currently accepting entries through March 31st. And then we have the Cahokia Mounds Tour, which is available for the early bird pricing through March 31st, and that tour will take place next September. I think that's the end of the report, unless there are any questions for me.
Thank you, Molly. Yes, Counselor Hargis?
If someone wanted to enter into the youth competition, who would they contact?
They can either contact me or Deborah Fritz. And there's also information online at CherokeeArtMarket.com.
Okay. I had one other question. I know the state has talked about closing a lot of the state parks. Is there any way we could get involved in maybe trying to save Cherokee Landing?
I can certainly talk to some other folks about that. I know we're very watchful of that news as well, and know that 5 parks are within our Cherokee Nation boundaries. So yeah, I'm kind of keeping a pulse on that, but we'll definitely talk to maybe Secretary of State about that.
Thanks, Molly. Go ahead. Yes?
Were you here when we talked about that natural resources?
No, I don't.
Yes.
We talked about that with Bruce yesterday.
Okay.
He's going to come back with an assessment of, for sure, Cherokee Landing. Then we have Greenleaf, and there's other parks that were mentioned from the council members. So Bruce is supposed to do an assessment. There were like 16 listed in the Tulsa World last week. So he's going to do an assessment and get back with us what it might require for us to take those over.
Okay, I'll touch base with Bruce then. Thanks.
I have a couple of questions about the tour, the Cahokia tour. How many people can go?
We are planning to do a full motor coach. So, well, yeah, 50 is the max. So, but, comfortably, I like to do about 42 to 45.
Okay, and how long will you be gone?
4 days.
4 days. And can you tell us what the early bird cost is for one person?
$6.99. $6.99 for a double and $7.99 for single.
Okay, thank you.
And we have a full list of the other locations that will be visited online. They include a couple theaters, the St. Louis Arch, Basilica Cathedral, St. Louis Art Museum. So there are many other stops along the way, in addition to the mounds.
Good.
Like the Cardinals or
Yeah, there's also a river casino. I was lucky one time. And a quick question about the Cherokee Days. We have a total of 8 Cherokee National Treasures going, is that right? To
8.
demonstrate? Or do we have that many?
Yeah, I think I wanted to say 9.
Did you get us a list of those?
Yeah, I can get a list.
Okay.
Yeah, I can send a list.
Okay. I guess that was the only question I had. Any other questions from anyone? Yes, Counselor Buzzard?
Molly, how is the Welcome Center doing over at Kansas, Oklahoma? Yeah, it's just off the beaten path, and I've often wondered, how many visitors do we get?
We do track that visitor count. It's definitely higher in the summer months with lake traffic. That's a site that I think when we took over management of it from the state, what they said was the least visited
Yes.
Welcome Center throughout the state, and I'd say that continues probably to be true.
And I knew that because it's hard to get to.
Yes, it
You're
is.
either going to be on the turnpike or stuff need looking at that thing.
Yeah,
I just got some concerns about that particular site, and And you know, these parks and stuff that we're talking about taking over from the state of Oklahoma, I think we really need to be careful of which one we decide we want to take, so. Because it's there, you know, it doesn't mean, you got maintenance costs and everything else to keep up on the thing, and so I take over a losing proposition if we can't make it at least break even.
Right.
Anyway,
I agree with
I'm
you.
just concerned about the candy side.
Yeah. Yeah, we do monitor visitor count, and I could make that available to anyone, but I will say it's higher in the summer months with the lake traffic.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, good report. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you.
Next up, let's see, I see Roy Boney here for Cherokee Nation Language Program. Good morning, Roy. You're the Lone Ranger today?
It's just me today.
I think you can handle it.
El Siona God.
So,
Well, I got a few highlights since we last met. First off, we had our Cherokee Language Consortium. We sent 11 staff members to Robbinsville, North Carolina. They went. Normally they come here, but we switched the times this time, so they go see their friend Shirley Oswald, who has cancer. So they want to make sure they seen her just in case anything happened. But they say she's doing pretty well, so we're glad to hear that news. Yeah. We also had the Cherokee Speakers Bureau last week. That's always a good time for our speakers, and we always like to see them happy and enjoy putting it on for them. A couple other things. For the last several years, we've been working with Microsoft to get Cherokee language versions of their software. And it's been available to the public for quite some time, but here at Cherokee Nation, our employees haven't had access to it yet. So pretty soon that will change. Our employees will actually have the option to use the Cherokee language on their computer for the whole system. I know some probably won't be able to do that, but we're working with them to develop a little lesson plan so they can learn how to use the computer like that in the Cherokee language. So the Cherokee Nation IT staff has been really great about helping us get this going. At the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, on March 6th, they opened an exhibit called Early Native Americans. It's about the Arkansas Native population in history. And the Cherokee translators actually provided a lot of translations for the panel. So if you ever go over there, in their library, they have a big setup in which it has a bunch of panels about history of the Arkansas people. And a lot of it's written in Cherokee because Cherokees do have a connection to Arkansas history. And so there's a lot of that's in there. Our community classes have begun. We have 17 going on this time, which is quite a lot. We usually have around 11 or 12, so we're always glad to see the number of people that want to have classes. The way we select where the classes are is the community will ask us if we can host the class there, and if we can, we'll accommodate them any way we can to make sure it happens. And this time around, we got a lot of requests. There's a lot of interest out there for the language, and we're always excited to see that happening. We also have the Cherokee Language Bowl with Johnson O'Malley was last week, and several of our staff members actually helped with that. Lawrence Panther, he's been assisting Johnson O'Malley with revising the challenge itself to include more language and a lot more culture. And with that, I'm open to questions.
Anybody have any questions of Roy? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's Jack.
Thank you. Is it possible for us to obtain a copy of the We Are Learning Cherokee textbook?
Yeah.
Good idea, Jack.
Yeah, we have the final version of that too, and we've given out over 300 copies so far at the community classes. So it's been a good success. We're exploring ways to actually get it published as a real book now, right? Because we're just printing it in-house right now. But yeah, I can get you all a copy of that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Great. Anybody else? Thank you very much, Roy. You all are doing some great work.
All right.
Appreciate you.
What else?
Good report. And next up is community and cultural outreach, and I see we have Tammy. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi. Well, our director is out for a little while. He had knee replacement surgery. He's doing well, and we are counting the days down for him to be back with us. So anyway, we do check on him daily, and he is doing well. You have our report. I'm just going to touch on a couple of things. One of the things I wanted to highlight was our volunteer program. We have had several college groups that have been in during the month of March. We've had 4. They come in here instead of going to spring break, say Cancun, and so it's alternative spring break. One of the groups went out to Greasy and helped with the tornado cleanup, and we were very proud that they did that. But we've had 4 groups come in, and they've completed around 17 projects this month. So that's Tony's Stay at Home's group. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that as far as CAUTA, our subaward to our community organizations, we have issued around 30 small subawards out to our communities, and so that's capacity building grant funding that's going to help them. Our Master Apprentice Language Program, they also went out to the Greasy community. It was a wonderful way because most of the people there are fluent speakers. And so they went out there, they worked with the tornado cleanup, they were able to stay in the language, and I think it was a wonderful experience for them. And so basically, the last thing I would like to mention is that Howard Payton's father passed away last night. And so keep him and his family in your prayers. And so, anyway, that was my report. If you guys have any questions.
Anyone? Comments?
Had a chance to visit with the youth, the volunteers. They were having lunch at the restaurant of the Cherokees.
Yes.
Some fine people there. I think most of them were from the state of Michigan.
Yes, we had several groups in. We had Michigan, Ohio, Texas Tech. Just a group of wonderful college kids, 10 to 13 usually come, and they're just here to serve and help people with needs. They did handicap ramps, painted houses, a lot of cleanup, of course, just down in the Greasy area. So just helping people that had needs. So.
You know, that might be something that we, as a criteria for our youth here to learn.
Yes.
You know, we have all kinds of youth come and volunteer and come to our area. You know, it'd be good if our youth were volunteering going to somebody else's place. That needs to be reciprocal there.
Absolutely.
And that'd be a good criteria for our youth.
Absolutely. And if anyone is interested in that, we like to have groups of about 10 people. So, you know, if you have a community and maybe 10 youth that are willing to work, if they'll contact myself or Tony Stay at Home, we can definitely work that out. Find a district, you know, anywhere in the 14 counties to place them and help find some projects.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and Councilor Buzzard, did you have?
Yeah, and that's a great idea. I like that idea. The other thing, I had a group from up north around Miami, Ottawa County, Fairland, that area. Have they contacted you about starting a CCO organization up there?
Do you know the head person's
I'd
name?
have to get that name.
Okay. I'm happy to help them if you'll get me their contact information.
Okay, I will. And they may have not. I thought I gave it to them and I didn't know if they were got it. The other thing, on these sub-grant awards, what's the average award that you get?
The average award is $7,500.
$7,000.
That's pretty much the max.
And what can that be used for?
That can be used for capacity building, fundraising equipment, just a small amount, 10% towards general funds that might help them pay their building insurance or just overhead. So, but the majority of it needs to be used for capacity building equipment or things like that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, yes, Wanda.
You mentioned the Miami, is that near like an at-large? That would be right close to an at-large area too. Has anybody ever expressed interest from that area? Because I know, or an at-large group.
Right.
Yes, it's just the southern part of Miami, just before you cross the river.
Okay.
Right.
Miami is actually in an at-large
Yes.
area, but there's been some interest up there for a community building and also a organization like we have here. So, yeah, we've been talking about that and working on that. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, comments or questions? Okay, thank you, Tony.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Our last report is from Tanya Weevil, and I heard she's on her way, but since she's not here, we'll just go ahead and take the report as is and just move on.
Any announcements?
We have no old business and no new business, and I do have a couple of announcements. If most of you in here probably already heard about it, but the Wild Onion Feast that the Pocahontas women put on is this Saturday, and it is from noon to 2 at the Claremore Senior Citizen Center in, and if you want a copy of the flyer, I've got copies, but it's a great event, and they're also having a silent auction and a dessert auction. And it's $15 for adults and $5 for a child, and I think it's just a wonderful event, so if you can make it, that would be great. The other announcement I have, and I don't have something to show you, I wish I did, but we are so excited. The Cherokee National Treasures book has been published and is on sale, and I've heard that it's on Amazon. Initially, it was selling, and it's a hardback, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book. It's a stories in their own voices of all the national treasures. And it goes, we're having a book launch, I believe April 13th at the Sequoia Gym for as many treasures as can come. And that's when we receive our copies of the book. So it's been a long time coming, and it's finally done, and we're thrilled. Does anyone else have any announcements?
She said she was on her way, Jack. You want to give her a few minutes?
It's up to you. But I do have
Go ahead,
a
yes.
question on the April 13th. What is the time?
It's in the evening, and
Okay.
let me see if I'll get it to you. I've got it on
Yeah,
my
that's fine.
calendar, but it's an evening dinner.
Yeah, I just want to know whether it was evening or
Yeah.
noon or whatever.
So we have a report. It's up to
Yeah.
you guys.
We don't have a written report either.
Oh, we don't have a written report. We could visit amongst ourselves for 5 minutes. And we have been, we're on time. We're way ahead of schedule. Oh, we talked long enough, she got here. Hey, Tanya. Come on up. We're waiting on you.
Let me catch my breath. That's the closest I've come to running in a long time.
Well, bless you. I'm glad you're
There's a fireball behind me. Oh, good morning, and my apologies for my tardiness.
It's quite all right. We're glad you're here.
I'm happy to say that the Heritage Center is still running and open. We're open Tuesday through Saturday. We will change our hours come Memorial Day. We'll be open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. We're closed on Sunday year-round. I'm happy to also report that as a nonprofit organization, we were able to apply for a CAUTA grant. It was our first year, and so we were awarded $3,000, in which we purchased a scanner for photography film and 2 heat and humidity registers for the archives and collections. And they've already been purchased, so it doesn't take us long to spend money. The search for the executive director has begun. The Moran Company from Kansas City is hosting that search, and they anticipate to have someone hired by the end of April, 1st of May. So that is on tap. I'm also happy to tell you that Brandy Ross is employed as our development manager. She is paid for through Cherokee Nation Business Funds, our marketing budget, which is paid for by C&B. And she began the 1st of February, and she is a go-getter. We have secured $33,000 worth of grants, gifts, and donations, and we have $103,000 in the works. So we've been in desperate need of her, and we're really happy to have her. We're looking forward to a fundraising campaign in the future. We don't have that set just yet, but we're working on grants and donations at the time. Charles Foster was hired as our maintenance supervisor. He replaced Orville Nugent, who retired last year. So we're happy to have Charles. Charles has spent the last 13 summers working for the Heritage Center on the Heritage Center's dime. And so he's very familiar with us and is a good addition to our to our staff. We're also making really good use of Cherokee Nation Day Training, Tribal Work Experience, Sector Partnership Grant, and the Oklahoma Workforce by hiring much-needed positions. We're really short on staff, and so we have 4 people who work, some full and some part-time, secretary, curator assistant, genealogy assistant. So we have a lot of people, and that's thanks to Barbara Gertie, our board and staff liaison, who is coordinating those programs. And we're looking forward to 2 summer youth employees this summer in the village. Today is the first day of hiring our seasonal employees. You know, we laid off employees last November, and we have rehired them as of today. One of them is in the ditch on the curve, I heard. He didn't quite make it to work on time. I hope he's okay. I think he is, but he was anxious to come back, I suppose. Didn't make the turn. But we've hired 3 people, and Danielle Culp has been hired, and she will lead. She'll be the supervisor of our summer seasonal hires. Let's see, we had 100 entries to the Trail of Tears Art Show that will open April the 8th from 9 different tribes. You know, we accept all federally recognized tribes in that show. So I got to jury the work yesterday, and it's pretty good. Some really cool jewelry, too. In conjunction with the Anna Mitchell Legacy exhibit, we hosted last Saturday a pottery lecture by Jane Oste and Victoria Vasquez, and we had a pottery making event. And so that was a real nice celebration of Anna and Victoria and Jane. So that was good. We had about 40 come to the lecture. 25 made little turtles, and that was funded by an Oklahoma Arts Council grant. So we're very happy to have that. And other than that, we've had staff who has traveled and done workshops. Ashley Van went to Little Rock to speak to the DAR on Cherokee genealogy. Jerry Thompson, our archivist, has spoken at, I forgot the name of his, the Society of Early Americanists in Tulsa. He was a speaker at the conference. And we've had a long and really steady partnership with Tulsa Global Alliance. I know they've come to the tribe a couple of times, but we've enjoyed their partnership for a long time. They bring international groups to us all the time. And so last month we hosted people from Central America, South America. It's not at all unusual for us to have a lot of international visitors, and they often want to speak with museum staff. They're either museum people or have like work. So we're always happy to visit with them and talk to them. And other than that, that completes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions now that I've caught my breath.
Does anyone have questions or comments for Tanya? I have one comment, and Saturday was wonderful. The weather was great. We had a good turnout, and the crowd just seemed so involved. We were up there talking about my mom and how to do pottery, and we did some hands-on things. And they were just all, really engaged, so we love to have that kind of crowd. I had a question about, remember a few years ago when I taught a class out there, we used that building that's sits alone and it's closed. It's right in front of where you go to the entrance to the village. What happened that we can we use that again instead of the atrium, because it's hard to hear?
It is hard to hear.
Yeah.
Most of those group events happen in the chapel. It's just a little bit away, but that was the gathering place, and now it's the trading post.
Oh.
And it was a screened-in porch. I don't know, some of you remember. It was just a real simple little structure. And then it got walls, and then we advanced it, and now it's the village. The back half is the villagers' dressing area with a sink and a refrigerator and a microwave. It's their lounge, so to speak. But the front half has been converted to be our winter tours. It is dressed out like a trading post.
Okay.
So when the weather's bad, we do the tour in the trading post, talk about most of it, and then do a quick walking tour through Dilligwa. So it's still available for use, not quite as big as it once was, and a little bit darker, because they've lowered the lights, and we have it all situated with deerskin and fabrics and things that would be reminiscent of a trading post. But it's still a possibility, and
Would it have been large enough to use that, to have that group there this
I
Saturday?
don't think it would
Okay.
have. I think we would have been cramped, and Jane would not have had an opportunity. So if any council member would like to donate a microphone headset for our staff to wear in the atrium when we do events, that'd be wonderful. Because you've been in the atrium, it is hard to hear.
Okay, thank you, but it was great. Thank you very much.
Yes, it was, and thank you for you coming.
It was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. All right, we've already done our announcements, so I guess we're ready to adjourn unless anybody else has something to say. Motion to adjourn? Motion?
Second.
Oh, good. All in favor? Motion seconded, all in favor? Aye.